I still remember the day I found myself sitting in my backyard, completely convinced that my best years were behind me. I was 72 at the time, feeling as though the world was moving faster than I could keep up. My grandchildren would whiz through computer games I barely understood, and my adult children seemed to juggle careers, family, and social lives in ways I never had to. In the midst of that confusion, I made a life-altering realization. My long years of experience weren't a burden or a sign of irrelevance. They were a treasure trove of insight, an asset I had barely tapped. That discovery led me down a path I never expected, a path of truly harnessing the wisdom that accumulates with every single year of life after 70. It's a story that many older adults can relate to in one way or another. Perhaps you felt that same creeping sense that society doesn't fully appreciate what you've learned over the decades, or that your voice gets lost in a sea of younger, faster-moving opinions. And if that feeling is left unresolved, it can develop into a deep sense of isolation. You might doubt whether you still have something valuable to offer. You may start to settle for a passive role, letting others make decisions for you as you watch quietly from the sidelines. But this is where the real danger lies, because the moment you stop believing in your own wisdom is the moment you begin to lose the very gifts that make your 70s, 80s, and beyond so rich with possibility. Yet there's a wonderful truth waiting to be discovered. The knowledge you've built over a lifetime can become your greatest superpower if you choose to unleash it. You can use it to strengthen relationships, guide younger generations, and create a more vibrant life for yourself each and every day. By the end of this conversation, you'll have 5 solid strategies for tapping into that well of wisdom so deeply that you'll wonder why you ever doubted your worth. And I want you to stick around until the end, because the 5th and final strategy is something so few people talk about. Yet it's the linchpin that ties everything together and keeps you feeling proud, confident, and purposeful long after you put these ideas into practice. I'm sharing these insights based on years of observing and learning from seniors who have lived well into their 90s with a fire in their eyes that never dimmed. Their experiences have been quietly studied by researchers and noted by forward-thinking health professionals who understand that living well in older age isn't just about physical health. It's also about staying psychologically and emotionally engaged in a way that honors the depth of who you are. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to become an active participant in this journey. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so now. You can also type a simple comment, maybe share what decade of life you're in, or what you hope to learn from this video. That way, we'll know you're here and ready to take on the best years of your life with renewed confidence. Now, let's explore these 5 key points together. Each one will challenge what you may have heard before. Each one will unveil a misconception that holds many seniors back, and each one will offer a practical way to release your untapped wisdom. By the end, you'll see yourself not as someone trying to catch up with a younger world, but as an individual standing tall in your 70s, proud of what you know and ready to share it. The first key idea starts with flipping a very common belief. Most of us have been told to keep quiet about our stories unless asked, so we don't appear boastful. But there is great power in speaking up, and it goes deeper than you might think. Bold statement. The secret to remaining vital in your 70s isn't about staying silent or humble at all costs. It's about openly celebrating the depth of what you've learned. A common misconception many seniors have is that offering wisdom unprompted might seem like bragging or meddling, so they hesitate to share. They assume the younger generation wants none of their advice, or that their experiences no longer apply in today's world. But here's the surprising truth. Younger people often crave real-life guidance from those who faced adversity and come out stronger. In fact, many psychologists now say that one of the most valuable forms of connection across generations is storytelling, an exchange where lived experience creates bridges of empathy and understanding. Take Doris, for example, a 79-year-old retired teacher. She spent the first few years of her retirement quietly reading in her living room and occasionally chatting with neighbors about the weather. She rarely shared stories from her 30 years in the classroom, convinced that no one wanted to hear about her outdated techniques. But one day, a new family moved in next door with a teenage son struggling in school. In a casual conversation, Doris mentioned an old teaching method she once used for students with a short attention span, something she'd developed when her district faced budget cuts and had few resources. The mother was desperate to help her son and asked Doris to elaborate. It turned out Doris had a simple three-step reading strategy she had honed over decades, which made challenging texts less intimidating for reluctant readers. She explained the steps and offered to help. Within a month, the teenager's reading scores improved, and his interest in school blossomed. His parents were astonished to learn that this old-fashioned method was incredibly effective. The key takeaway is that the knowledge you accumulate over a lifetime never expires. It may require a tweak here or there to fit modern contexts, but the core wisdom remains gold. Once Doris realized this, she started sharing more of her stories with other parents and even volunteered at a local community center to tutor kids. She felt more alive and relevant than she had in years. If you're watching and wondering how to apply Doris's lesson, start small. Think about one or two experiences from your past that taught you something unforgettable. Maybe it was learning how to manage a household on a tight budget, or a unique skill you developed while working. Write these stories down. Then the next time you see an opportunity to help someone, share that piece of yourself. You might be surprised at how warmly it's received. The emotional benefit of stepping into your role as a storyteller is profound. Instead of feeling overlooked, you begin to feel valued. Instead of doubting your impact, you feel a growing sense of pride that transcends any insecurities about age. And that sense of pride becomes a fuel for even more engagement, a positive cycle that lifts your mood and gives your days fresh purpose. Bold statement. Reaching your 70s doesn't mean you should avoid surprises. It means you should become the source of them. A belief many seniors hold is that routines and predictability are the only way to feel secure in older age. The idea is that if you limit unpredictability, life will be simpler and easier to handle. On the surface, that sounds logical. But consider this. Surprises keep the mind agile, and stepping into new experiences can actually enhance your sense of dignity. When you provide an unexpected insight to someone much younger, or share a story that leaves people speechless, you break stereotypes about aging. Think of Sam, 74, who spent most of his retirement doing the same things every day, waking up, having breakfast, reading the newspaper, and watching television. Deep down, Sam felt restless, but he believed his days of experimentation were over. Then he watched a news segment about seniors participating in a local entrepreneurship workshop. Intrigued, he signed up, despite never having owned a business in his life. At first, Sam felt out of place among participants half his age. But during a brainstorming session, he recalled a supply chain trick he had learned decades earlier while working in a small hardware store. It was a technique that helped reduce costs and improve customer satisfaction. So he pitched it to the group. To his shock, it became the cornerstone of their final project. Word spread that Sam, the senior in the group, had contributed the critical piece of strategy that catapulted the team's idea to the top. By embracing something new and unexpected, Sam not only improved his mental sharpness, but also inspired people decades younger than himself. The surprising insight is that novelty and surprise don't have to fade with age. In fact, welcoming the unexpected can sharpen your perspective and expand your influence. If you're thinking of how to do this in your own life, consider adding one new activity or group involvement each month, something that genuinely piques your curiosity, or start a conversation with someone from a very different background. The emotional benefit is a renewed sense of vibrancy. Instead of the world closing in, it starts to open up once more. If you've been watching so far and find any of these insights meaningful, please let me know by typing 2 in the comments. It shows me you're engaged and encourages me to keep sharing more valuable tips. If you haven't yet subscribed, this is the perfect time to do so. Your support enables us to continue bringing content aimed at helping you live a fuller, prouder life. Bold statement. Your 70s aren't the time to withdraw from the world's problems. They're the perfect time to influence solutions. Many people believe that once you retire, your days of involvement in societal issues or community challenges are behind you. They assume younger generations have it covered, or that leadership roles should belong to those still in the workforce. However, the reality is that communities often thrive on the insights of seniors who have weathered past storms, economic downturns, cultural shifts, personal crises, and emerge with a clear sense of what truly matters. Consider Anita, 76, who had always been active in her community during her working years. But once she retired, she felt she had nothing left to offer. One day, she noticed that her town's local park was in disrepair and mostly empty. Graffiti was everywhere, and broken benches made it unwelcoming. Instead of complaining about it from home, Anita remembered a neighborhood revitalization project she had spearheaded in her 40s. She had organized volunteers, worked with local businesses, and got city officials on board to transform a rundown corner of town into a blossoming community garden. Anita took that same blueprint to the local council, gathering a small group of friends and neighbors. She rallied them to clean up the park, repaint benches, plant flowers, and add a small area for seniors to sit and chat. Within a few months, the park was no longer a derelict eyesore. It had become a social hub for families and older adults alike. Her leadership not only improved her neighborhood, but also reignited a spark of pride within her. The surprising insight here is that your accumulated know-how about what it takes to bring people together through successful times and tough ones can be the missing ingredient your community needs. Even if you worry about physical limitations, you can still strategize, inspire, and coordinate from a place of deep experience. If this resonates, try one straightforward step. Look around your neighborhood for a problem you've seen before. Maybe it's a lack of a safe gathering space, or perhaps it's an underfunded library or an absence of activities for local kids. Ask yourself, what did I learn in my past that could help fix this? Then offer your ideas, either in a community meeting or to a local leader. The emotional payoff is immense. You'll feel your dignity soaring as you become recognized as a valuable problem solver. It's a testament that stepping forward in your 70s isn't just possible, it's powerful. Bold statement: embracing modern tools doesn't diminish your wisdom, it amplifies it. A misconception that holds many seniors back is the notion that technology is too complicated or that learning it is more trouble than it's worth. Some worry that by embracing technology, they'll be trying too hard to fit in with younger generations. Others fear feeling foolish if they can't grasp the newest devices immediately. Yet technology, when approached with an open mind, can become a megaphone for your life experience, allowing you to share your knowledge in ways that were never possible before. Meet George, 77, who was initially terrified of computers. He had a smartphone that his children insisted he keep in case of emergencies, but it mostly sat on his bedside table, untouched. One afternoon, George was reminiscing about his early career as a traveling salesman, recalling the tips and tricks he learned to connect with people from all walks of life. His granddaughter, a college student studying marketing, happened to be around. She suggested he share these stories online, potentially helping young professionals who might benefit from his wisdom. At first, George balked. The idea of posting videos or writing blog articles was daunting, but with a bit of guidance, he set up a simple account on a social media platform. He recorded short videos detailing his best sales tips, from the art of the handshake to reading subtle body language. To his amazement, these videos started getting attention. Younger viewers left comments saying how refreshing it was to learn from someone with real, time-tested experience rather than just textbook theories. Encouraged, George learned to edit his own footage, reply to comments, and even invite guest speakers, some of his old colleagues, into live sessions. Within a few months, he had built an online following. People began referring to him as the wise salesman, and his sense of pride soared. Far from demeaning him, technology gave George a way to extend his influence well beyond his immediate circle. It provided a renewed sense of purpose that made each day feel like an exciting opportunity. If you want to follow George's example, start with baby steps. Maybe learn just one new tech skill each month. It could be as simple as sending a voice note instead of a text message, or as bold as launching a channel where you share household hacks or craft tips you've accumulated over decades. Don't worry about perfection. The beauty is in the authenticity you bring. You'll find that this approach not only builds your confidence, but also lets you connect with people worldwide who appreciate your wisdom. If you're still here, I appreciate you. Let me know by typing 4 in the comments to indicate you've made it through these valuable insights. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Stay connected so we can continue exploring ways to honor your wisdom and enhance your pride in being who you are. Bold statement. The most overlooked secret to harnessing your wisdom in your 70s is giving yourself permission to keep evolving. So many seniors believe that personal growth has a cutoff date, as if your capacity to learn and evolve ends after retirement. This misconception can cause a sense of stagnation and limit your ability to find new outlets for your accumulated knowledge. Yet personal growth is not reserved for the young. You have every right and every ability to discover new passions, form new relationships, and deepen your self-awareness, no matter what stage of life you're in. Let's look at Lydia, 80, who spent most of her adulthood believing she'd do just one thing well, taking care of her family. She raised 3 children, supported her husband through a challenging career, and found pride in the day-to-day tasks that kept her household running. But once her children were grown and her husband had passed away, Lydia felt directionless. Whenever someone asked what her hobbies or interests were, she struggled to answer. One evening, she attended a workshop at the local community center, led by an artist who specialized in watercolor painting. Lydia had never considered herself creative, but she decided to give it a try. To her own surprise, she discovered a natural talent and, more importantly, a newfound love for expressing herself through color and brushstrokes. Her gentle scenes of nature resonated with others in the class, and before long she was invited to display her work in a small local art show. By her 80th birthday, Lydia had found not just a hobby, but a new layer of her identity: artist, creator, source of beauty. The shocking truth is that we never run out of layers to peel back in the self-discovery process. The steps to apply this are straightforward yet transformative. Make a list of at least 3 activities you've always been curious about, whether it's learning a musical instrument, exploring photography, or experimenting with gardening in a more artistic way. Then commit to exploring each one, even in a small way. Read a book about it, watch a tutorial, take a short course. You may find that you have untapped talents waiting for you, or that you gain insights you can combine with your lifetime of wisdom. The emotional benefit is enormous. Suddenly, you see yourself as an ever-evolving individual, not someone who peaked decades ago. That sense of evolution feeds your dignity and pride, showing you that life can be full of fresh perspectives and achievements, regardless of age. Now that you've heard these 5 points, it's time to connect them all. Imagine if you fully embraced your role as a storyteller, surprised the world with new ideas, actively sought to solve community problems, used modern tools to amplify your voice, and gave yourself permission to keep evolving. The synergy of these actions can create a transformational shift, turning each day into a celebration of how far you've come and where you still want to go. Think about how each insight can apply to your life. Perhaps you see yourself organizing a local event, or maybe you envision posting a short video to share some of your life hacks. If this video has sparked even a tiny flame of inspiration, take a moment to picture what would happen if you fanned that flame. You might wake up tomorrow with a renewed sense of purpose, eager to reach out, explore, and engage. That is the power of harnessing your wisdom in your 70s, and it's available to you starting today. The stakes of not acting are real. If you let these years pass without tapping into your own wealth of experiences, you might look back and wish you'd shared more, participated more, and allowed yourself to keep growing. But the flip side is that when you do take even small steps in the directions we've discussed, you amplify the best parts of getting older: pride in who you are, the dignity of your lifetime achievements, and the ability to continue shaping the world around you. I'd love for you to let me know which of these 5 points resonated with you the most. Was it the idea of embracing the role of a storyteller? Or maybe the concept of diving into technology to amplify your wisdom? Share your thoughts in the comments. Reflecting on these points in writing helps cement them in your mind and gives you a chance to set an intention for how you'll apply them. As a concrete first step, pick one action, however small, you can commit to within the next week. Perhaps it's jotting down stories from your past, signing up for a community activity, or asking a relative to show you how to navigate a particular app or website. Even better, write your goal in the comments for extra accountability. And while you're at it, if you found this video valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might also benefit. You never know whose life you might touch simply by passing along a piece of wisdom. Your support helps us continue creating content aimed at empowering you to lead a rich and meaningful life at every stage. Remember, transformation isn't reserved for the young. You carry within you the insights, stories, and solutions that could enlighten not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. By acknowledging and investing in your own wisdom, you stand tall in your 70s, or in any decade you find yourself in, proud of what you've accomplished and ready for what's next. You've come so far. Don't stop now. Keep evolving, keep sharing, and keep discovering just how powerful your experiences truly are. I look forward to hearing about your journey, and I can't wait to see how you continue to grow and inspire in the days, months, and years ahead. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your willingness to learn and explore new ideas is exactly what keeps you vibrant at any age. I'm already excited to bring you more insights on how to live a fulfilling life. So stay tuned and stay confident in your own story. The future is still yours to shape, and your wisdom is the key to making it brighter than ever.